Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Saturday, July 2nd, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Mr. Josh Crash Davis. Josh, how are you today on this wonderful Saturday?
Doing well, Coach. We had a solid night last night, and my Brewers really lit it up. It was fun to watch for sure. And Christian Javier, man, he went on a tear last night. 14 strikeouts. So back-to-back 70-point games. Definitely didn't see that coming.
No, I don't believe any other pitchers had back-to-back 70-point fantasy scores this year, if I'm not mistaken. That's unbelievable. So Good call on your value pitcher. I know he was your value guy yesterday.
Yeah.
So outstanding. But fun weekend of sports, 4th of July weekend. We're loving it here. Juggling everything. It's been a blast. Tons of Major League Baseball. Today we're covering all of the games that start at 4:05 and later, and there's 14 of them. So it's double headers and all kinds of stuff going on all over the place. Yeah. There's some good 4:05 slates on Fanduel, Draftkings, and Yahoo, and then there's some evening slates as well. So we'll cover all of those games. And then, of course, we've got the dual golfs going. This is the first time I've had to mess with that with PGA and the LIV Tour. So That's been fun. We're going to be sweating those today. And then I'm so excited, man. We've got NBA Summer League tonight.
I know. It's going to be awesome.
I can't believe it. Yeah, and it's late night. It's 10 o'clock Eastern because it's a California little Summer League, and then it's going to build up. We'll have Summer League for quite a while now with the two small ones and then the big one in Vegas. So we're covering all of those. We're giving lineups for all of them, and that's going to be fun. Boy, the free agency in the NBA.
Oh, man. I know. Yeah, I was just going to say they probably lost one of their better. I think he probably would have been on their Summer League, Gary Payton II. Don't you think he would have been on their roster?
He probably wouldn't have because he's such a veteran at this point, in my opinion. But maybe, you never know. But I'll tell you what, I've never seen this much movement and there's a lot more to come. They're saying, Aiden's going to get traded. Of course, we've got the Kyrie and Durant fiasco. Yeah, crazy stuff. But
it is crazy.
NBA finds a way to be at the top of the headlines, no matter what time of year it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun, and it is a big loss though for the Warriors for sure. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I'll be reviewing some NBA stuff, throwing a pot up there about that and stuff too. So keep an eye out for that. So in fact, if you're watching right now on YouTube, this is the time. Hit the thumbs up. That's important to us. We really need that. We're getting to some milestones here at Coach Talk, and that thumbs up helps us in the algorithm on YouTube. So we appreciate that. Shout out to our guys that are always on there every day and gals. David's been awesome. And boy from Cali, Shauna. Who else has been in there a bunch lately? Do you remember?
Steven. I can't remember his last name, but Steven. Yeah.
Steven's in there. Yeah. So big shout out to all those folks. We appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button. And again, hit that alert button in the corner because with some NBA pods, again, just with free agency and all of the Summer League stuff, every day MLB, 7 days a week. And then we've got golf pods. Now that we have dual golf, we're going to mess with that. And so check us out. Hit that alert button in the corner. That'll always remind you of what's going on. So, all right, we don't have time to waste today. We want to get everybody going this morning so that they can get these lineups set and contest reserved. Because I'll give you a heads up here, Crash. I don't know if you noticed, but there's so many different slates, especially on DraftKings, that some of them don't have the depth of contest selection. So what I'd recommend is after you listen to the podcast or while you're listening to it, reserve those 4:05 and 7:05 slates so you get the contest that you want.
Yeah, I actually did that first thing I woke up this morning. So
yeah, I think that's the way to go. All right, I'm going to, before I break down the games real quick, give us the set of what we're looking at today. Let me talk about weather real quick here because that is going to be a big factor today, Crash.
Definitely.
For the games that we're covering, we should be fine in Chicago, San Francisco as far as the weather, but that's the dilemma of the day, man. We've scoured this. We spent quite a bit of time before the podcast just trying to solidify, but it looks like even though it's a 4:05 game Eastern, it's the temperature about 55 at game time and a sustained wind of 20 miles an hour blowing out somewhere between right center and left center, different reports on different sites. So, that's a big question mark in that game. That definitely changes some things. And of course, with Dylan Cease and Logan Webb, they're going to be popular today, but is that wind, 20, when you're talking 20 mile an hour sustained winds, that's a lot of wind.
That is a lot of wind. There's a lot of wind for sure.
I don't know. That's going to be one we got to keep an eye on. St. Louis and Philly, a few thunderstorms around. We got to watch that one.
Yeah.
The one that I'm most concerned about, in fact, I'm fading it right this minute, is Miami at Washington, because there's a bunch of storms around there. Washington is the number one ballpark in the league to cancel games. They've been known to cancel games before they had a drop of rain. And the forecast is not that great. So, definitely a scary game there. We're going to keep a close eye on Miami and Washington. The other two I'll mention just to keep an eye on, Texas at New York, definitely a chance of showers there. We got to watch. And then another important game, because you got bad pitchers in Coors tonight, Arizona at Colorado. There are some thunderstorms around that game, so it could be a delay type situation, but enough that we needed to mention it because all of those games are going to affect our builds all over the place. Yeah,
that's definitely going to be key.
All right, let's dive in, just give you the landscape of what we're working on. So 4:05, again, is the first game that we're covering today. We're not going to look at those first three games because we got big slates with these 14 ahead of us. Again, we mentioned the White Sox at the Giants. Over-unders only 7.5 right now in Vegas, even with those wins. So that either tells me it's not going to be that big of a deal, or we have to watch if that line moves. Because that's super important here. It's a 3.5 implied for Chicago, 4 implied for San Francisco. Dylan Cease in his 9.5K, and we're using Draftkings pricing for these purposes, and Logan Webb at 8.8K. So I don't know. What's your gut tell you right off the bat on that one?
That's going to be a tough one. I mean, that's the one that we're going to have to look at and study and try and see the latest on the wind and everything. I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to go away from Dylan Cease right now. So
he is striking out everybody, no doubt. All right, then we have another 4:05 game. The Cardinals at the Phillies, 9.5 total, 4.5 implied for St. Louis, 5 for Philly. Matthew Liberatore at 7.7K against Kyle Gibson at 8K. So sneaky game there. 9.5 is a big number. Definitely interested. A little, we got to watch the weather though.
Yeah, I like the Philly side in that game more against Liberatore. I think they can get especially their righties. He's been giving up more contact to the right-handed side, so I like the righties in that game for Philly.
Yep, I'm with you. Next one, 4:05 as well. Decent weather. Brewers at Pirates. And I don't have an implied total. I'm going to see if they updated it. Let me hit the update button and see if they – yep, it's up. Okay, Brewers at Pirates. It's a 9.5 total. 5.5 implied for Milwaukee. And they've been scoring. 4 implied for the Pirates. Aaron Ashby, 7.5K. Bryce Wilson, 5.5K, very cheap. 86 degrees in Pittsburgh, so that's hot for the Pittsburgh weather. Breeze blowing out to the left at 9 miles an hour. What do you think?
On paper, it's a better matchup for the Brewers than they had last night. I mean, Roansy Contreras been pretty solid.
Yeah.
I had a feeling about them yesterday. I figured they'd probably be lower owned. I think they ended up being a little bit more owned than I thought they would be, but they really got a hold of Roansy Contreras. And I mean, on paper, like I said, it's a better matchup than Contreras was. So they should be able to do some damage. But when you score that many runs in one game, you have to think that there'll be some regression too. So
True. I mean, it's not normally that hot with breeze blowing out in Pittsburgh. So that's
right.
something to keep an eye on. Definitely doesn't help the pitchers.
Yeah, definitely not.
Another 4:05 game, Miami at Washington. Again, the worst weather concern of the day. So we've got to watch that one closely. 9.5 total, 4.75 for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Castano versus Jackson Terrell, and 5.8K and 5.7K respective. So interesting game, high run total, scary weather, young pitchers. Now that's a head scratcher.
Yeah. I'm going to be fading that game. Like you said before, Washington is just notorious for canceling games when they even look like they should play without any question. And so definitely don't want to go there today.
Yeah, and I don't trust the hitting or the pitching. So it doesn't make it too
Bad
hard
combination.
to fade. 4:10, LA at Houston in the Dome, 8.5 total, 4 runs implied for the Angels, 4.5 for the Astros. Patrick Sandoval, 8.1K. Jose Urquidy, 7.3K. This game is really interesting. What's your take initially?
I actually like Houston more in this matchup. I know Sandoval, he's been pretty solid, but they do have some bats in Houston. I know like Kyle Tucker, Gurriel, just to name a few, Bregman, I think those guys have had some success against Sandoval. So I like Houston more in this matchup. But I do like, this is kind of what we see from LA a lot. They hit some home runs, but they don't score a ton of runs. So
right.
I think Ohtani and Trout are obviously some home run candidates, of course. But
yeah, that Houston ballpark gives up so many homers, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the other day I was talking about that, and I said they're going to, those Yankees guys are going to flick it right over into the right field seats. And boy, that day, both guys did, Stanton and Judge.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a short that right-handed porch, like you're saying, is just so short. So
and the wall's so close and left, too.
The Crawford
really
is up there.
Hitters that park everywhere around in that park.
Yeah.
So I'll have some exposure in that game to the hitters, even though the pitchers are not that bad, considering this slate really is poor in pitching. Horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it makes it tough. Next one, 4:10, Kansas City at Detroit, a balmy 86 in Detroit, 10-mile-an-hour wind, blowing out to left. So hitters type situation and two scary pitchers too. 8.5, the total, which is a little low, but neither team hits that great. Both teams have a 4.25 implied, so even Vegas doesn't know what the hell to do with this game. Chris Bubic, 6.1K. Bo Brisky, 7.2K. So, wow, where do you go there?
Man, I guess I'd probably lean more towards Detroit for ownership. I think they're usually really low owned.
Yeah,
and Bubic has definitely struggled at times. There was one in particular that I was looking at on the Detroit side against him. Oh, Eric Haas. I like Eric Haas today. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so it's a low price play on, I think it's Yahoo, where his price is really low. So
yeah,
I always have a hard time finding value on Yahoo for some reason.
Well, you can get some steal value though. There's some big name guys that they price low for some reason, but
yeah,
you got to dig in and search for sure. Sometimes there's overpriced, but you get your occasional, like for some reason, like Nolan Arenado was like $10 forever over there. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, they do have, that's true. They do have some misprices over there. And I was going to say, we're talking about the Houston game earlier. Jose Altuve, believe it or not, is 0 for 10 against Sandoval. You wouldn't think that usually he's good against lefties, but he's 0 for 10 against him. So,
jeez, good fade guy for sure.
yeah. Yep.
All right, we got a very low total in Seattle. It's Oakland against Seattle, 4-10 games, 7 flat, 3 implied for Oakland is all, 4 for Seattle. For some reason, these two guys are coming up in Vegas as a couple of aces, but I think they're a couple of asses, not aces. Sorry. Paul Blackburn, 7.1K. George Kirby, he sucked the life out of our lineups the other day. 7.8K. I think is he the guy I put I'm dead to him, or was
you put he's dead to me.
He's dead to me. Yeah. So Blackburn and Kirby, 7.1 and 7.8K. You know, I don't know. Why is it such a low total here? 3 and 4 implied. What do you think?
Oakland doesn't score a lot of runs. I think they're like number 2 in runs, fewest runs scored. They've scored the second fewest runs. And then, Seattle's been struggling to score lately. So it's really interesting. I think Blackburn allowed 7 runs against Seattle last time he faced them. So that makes it even more interesting to me. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really like Julio Rodriguez. I can tell you that. But
yeah, he's an up and coming superstar in this league. That's for sure. His price though, he stings now, 5.7. He's up there with the big boys.
He is. He's right up there with all the superstars. So
yeah, tough one though. Hard game to figure. I mean, I could listen to an argument for pitching. I could listen to a small argument for hitting, but it's not my favorite game.
Not a 5-crown slate tonight.
I don't know what crown. The Humpty Dumpty fell off. The crown fell off and broke is what happened there.
Yeah.
This next game is very head scratcher too, because I think it's going to be pretty popular. It's a 4-10 Atlanta at Cincinnati. The 9 is the implied total, 5.10 for Atlanta. So over 5 total on the road. 3.90 for Cincinnati. Spencer Strider, 8.2K. Tyler Mahle, 9K. So, I mean, Mahle does strike out a bunch of guys, but it is going to be 87 degrees in Great American Small Park and a slight breeze blowing out to right center. So, you on the Mahle side or the hitting side in this game?
I like Atlanta more. As you mentioned, it's a Great American Small Park, and they just got Acuna back in their lineup last night. So, it always makes it that much tougher when he's at the top of that lineup. So I do like Atlanta more. But Mahle, in the same hand, had a pretty good start against them earlier this year. So that was in Atlanta, but it's a toss up for me as well.
Yeah, and Atlanta strikes out a lot. There's no question about that.
They definitely do that.
So it could be a hit or miss, risk reward Mahle play today. That's going to be a big call for a lot of people, because if you don't play Mahle, you're tempted to want to at least mini stack some of those Atlanta guys. So definitely a double duo decision there. Then a 4-10, again, we got to watch the weather here with some thunderstorms and risk delay, a good 50% chance of that. It's the Texas Rangers at the New York Mets, totals 9, 4.30 implied for Texas, 4.70 for the Mets. Martin Perez, 8.7K against Trevor Williams, 6.3K. 84 degrees, wind blowing out at 10 miles an hour, but again, storms brewing possibly there as well. So we'll keep a close eye there. But any indication initially what you're leaning?
I like the Mets more in that matchup. I think that's going to be a tough matchup for Perez. So I definitely like the Mets. Alonso, Lindor, Brandon Nimmo, reverse splits, has actually had a good amount of success against Perez, and so has Jeff McNeil. So a couple guys,
which is weird because those are going to probably be the only 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup. I think they'll put 7 righties out there, and they both have decent, like you said, reverse splits success against Perez. So I'm really liking a Mets stack or mini stack, but I just want to make sure the weather's good, you know?
Yeah, McNeil's 292 against lefties this year. So
yeah,
lefties pretty well.
He has done well. All right. There's 2 games. There's a 607 and 610 game. We'll put those in here because I believe they're on the Yahoo slate, right? Not on the other 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Which games?
Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Yankees, Guardians. Or are we eliminating those?
Tampa Bay, Toronto is they play at like 11 something, 12 something.
I think it's a double header because I see a 607 game in here.
Really? Let me see here.
They play it at 12:07 the first game, and the second game is at 6:07. So, yeah, just to add to the mix again.
Well, if that's the case, it's not on Yahoo.
Okay, so it's not on any of the 3 that we're focusing. Let me look real quick because that'll obviously be an important game.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see it on the 405 FanDuel. I don't know why they have to make this so damn complicated all the time.
I know.
And I don't see it on the Draftkings. So that game is not.
It's probably like on a showdown slate or something. So it's 6:07 Eastern is when they play. And then the late slates are like at, I think, 7:15 or something like that Eastern. So, yeah, it wouldn't be on those slates.
And then the Yankees, Guardians, same scenario at 6:10.
Yeah.
So we're going right to the 7:15 Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs. 9.5 is the total. Cool 75, comfortable degrees in Chicago. Wind blowing in at slight, 5 miles an hour, not much. But it is a big 9.5 total. Over 5 implied for Boston. So they'll be a popular stack probably. 5.10, 4.40 implied for the Cubs. Josh Winkowski versus 7.6K against the cheap Alec Mills at 5K. You can get an average second baseman for that price.
Yeah. Yeah, but Mills hasn't been doing very well lately. So
Are you on the Boston stack wagon?
Yeah. I like Devers and Bogarts. Did you see Jackie Bradley yesterday? He hit like a 3-run double or something. I swear that's the most production he's had, and it feels like a few years because he wasn't doing hardly anything in Milwaukee. So
he hasn't hit for like 5 years, but he's just such a great defender.
I know he is.
But against Mills, it looks like they're going to have a bunch of lefties. Duran, Devers.
Yeah, Verdugo. I was thinking of was Verdugo.
Franchi. Is it Franchi or
Franchi Cordero? Yeah, it's a weird name, but yeah.
But it's FRA. So
I don't know. I'm going to look that up real quick.
I just wonder if it's pronounced. It says when you look at it, it looks like Franchi Cordero, but I think everybody calls him Frenchy Cordero. So I don't think it really matters, but anyway, he's a cheap left-handed stick, and he's got some pop.
Yeah.
And then your buddy Jackie Bradley, your play of the day is bat 9th lefty.
Yeah, definitely not my play of the day, but
he hit his triple. He hit his 1 triple for the next 3 years. He's good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we'll leave. If you find out the big Frenchie, anybody in chat, put it in there. Do you call him Frenchie or do you call him Franchi? That's the big question today. Whether we roster him or not, if we can get that right pronunciation.
Let's see what this does. Hang on.
Franchi Cordero.
Well,
Franchi Cordero.
Yeah, so I think it is Frenchy, but it's just they pronounce it with an accent. So
interesting. All right, we'll stick with Franchi Cordero.
Yeah.
All right. On the Cubs side, too, they have a few sticks there that can get it done against Winkowski's not exactly an ace, but we'll see how that goes. I was pretty fired up at my Patrick Wisdom play.
Oh, my goodness.
Grand salami and second homer on top of that.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
Was.
But they have some guys that can stick it.
Christopher Morel's been playing really well. I like him a lot.
He's a nice up-and-coming player for sure.
Of course, Contreras and Happ. Yeah, I mean, they do have some sticks that can get out of the park for sure.
All right, last two games. We have a 7:15, and then we have to all wait patiently for 2 hours for a Rockies game in Coors, no less.
Yeah.
That's unusual. So, man, there's going to be some people with all set and good spots thinking they're good, and then that Rockies game comes and punches them right in the gut, or you're going to be sitting towards the bottom waiting for that game, and then who knows? This is going to be a weird slate today, man.
Yeah, it is.
So 7:15, though, first of all, is the Padres and Dodgers. Another interesting game here. It's 80 degrees in LA, slight breeze blowing out to a slight wind, 10 miles an hour to right center. 7.5 total, 3.41 implied for San Diego, 4.09 for the Dodgers. Your buddy Yu Darvish, 10.2K. And the lefty inconsistent Tyler Anderson, 9K. Last 6 starts, 3 really good, 3 really bad. So I'd say you've got a 50-50 shot if you roll him out there. That's the big question.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't like Darvish against the Dodgers. But I will say one thing: their strikeout rate has gone way up lately. So
yeah.
That is one thing you can definitely consider. I mean, they had last night.
I think Darvish will get some ownership too. I really do.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not a big fan.
I don't even know. We've got, let's see, the pitching in Coors is terrible, and it's Coors, and then the pitching in Chicago is not good either, right? So
there's terrible pitching everywhere. I mean, this is one of the tougher cards pitching wise. The good pitchers are all caught in those early games or the games where they're not hardly in anything. In those 6 o'clock games, you can't. The way it shakes out for the main slates on the sites, you're left with garbage pitching, really.
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough.
It's going to be a volatile day. You're not going to have tons of duped lineups. It's so that's cool.
Right.
And people are going to be all over the place. There'll be teams, playing pitcher on most of their lineups, and then other people stacking against them. So it's going to be really volatile. But speaking of volatile, so we wait until 9:10 p.m. Eastern, like I say, almost 2 hours after the game before it, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Colorado Rockies, with by far the highest total on the board. In Vegas, it's sitting at 12. Listen to these implied totals, man. 5.54 for Arizona, and that's weak. 6.46 for the light-hitting Colorado Rockies.
Wow.
So that gets your attention, and it's 79 at game time, wind blowing out 10 miles an hour to right. Dallas Keuchel, God bless him, having a pitch in Colorado at this point in his career, 6.4K. And Austin Gomber, the lefty, at 5.7K. Do you just say screw it and stack this game? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to find whatever pitcher you like. I mean, it's a crapshoot, but whatever pitcher you like, and then stack the heck out of this game because it
looks like it. I mean, you got Chris Bryant back in there. That helps, Colorado a lot. He's going to be chalky. CJ Cron will be chalky. I'll tell you, though, I've played Daza, who's probably going to bat second, and Rogers, who's batting fifth. And I don't think they've hit the ball out of the infield for me. I don't know what it is, but I have not had good success with them. And then the bottom of their lineup, Iglesias, McMahon, who did homer for me, I got to say, Grishik, and Servin, whatever. I mean, it's hard to put all your hopes and dreams in those stacks.
It is tough. So here's a stat for you, Coach. Do you know what Crohn's hit against Keuchel?
What is it?
5 for 26, 4 singles, a double, no home runs, 192 average.
Wow. Yeah, that's unusual.
You fade him, that's going to make you automatically different because I guarantee he's going to be the highest on Rocky.
If you stack and don't use him, definitely will make you different. But again, that means Chris Bryant's probably going to be the highest owned player on the slate at this point.
You think he'll get higher ownership than Crone? I mean, Crone's known to be the, lefty smasher. So
he is the lefty smasher. I think they'll both be way up there. But where do you go then? Do you go Joe and Daza in front of him? Or do you go Rogers, Iglesias, McMahon, those guys below him?
Well, I was thinking I would go, because that's catcher first base on Fanduel, or first base, of course, on DraftKings.
Right.
I would go with probably Wilson Contreras on Fanduel, and then maybe Freddie Freeman. I don't know. I have to decide on first base, but
yeah,
it's
crazy. I mean, this is really going to be a fun slate just because it's so volatile. So, all right, we're going to get rolling here because we have to give our pay up, value pitchers, fades. We're going to give you the BVP HR stacks, power plays, or power plays. What am I? Am I a
pitcher,
here? Hockey playoffs?
Yeah,
prize picks. And then we're going to build a 2 brains are better than 1 too. So we better get our tails moving. We're dragging a bit here, but it's a lot to discuss because there's so much volatility on this slate. All right, pay up pitcher. Before we do that, real quickly, come and join us at Coach Talk. It's the 4th of July weekend. This is the time to do it. We only have this deal going for 3 more days. Today, Sunday, and Monday. That's it. You join us, you get everything we've got. I mean, everything. Our own ownership projections, all of the basketball, baseball, NASCAR, MMA. We've got all of it here. And it's only $74 all the way through till September 2nd. So basically, until football starts, you're a full-blown member, top level with Coach Talks. To go to dfscoachtalk.com and check it out. Now, if you want to try a 3-day pass, it would expire on Monday. So you get your toes in the water Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then on Monday, if you love it, which hopefully will be on fire and you'll love it, you can still sign up for that membership until September 2nd on Monday. So it's the last day to do the $10 3-day pass and check us out throughout the weekend. And we've got everything going. So do that for sure. We'd love to have you. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and hit the little alert button in the corner. If you're watching just listening on any of our podcast landing spots like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere podcasts are heard, give us a quick 5-star rating and a quick comment, and you'll be in a drawing that we do each month for a free month of Coach Talk. All right, sir, pay up pitcher. What do you got?
All right, so I'm not going to go as in-depth as I normally do just because, like you said, we're running a little bit behind now. I got Dylan Cease, 10-7 on FanDuel, 9,500 on DraftKings. He's been getting a lot of strikeouts lately with 8 or more strikeouts in his last 4 starts. And San Francisco has actually fallen from the top 10 to now 19th in strikeouts. So Dylan Cease is going to be my top pay-up option.
I'm with you, man. I just can't get away from those strikeouts. And DFS is a strikeout pitching scoring. And granted, there's that massive wind and it scares me. But if you strike out, it doesn't matter what the wind is. Yeah. So I'm going Dylan Cease for the reasons that you just said. He is 9.5 on DraftKings, a little bitey 10-7 on FanDuel, and 51 on Yahoo. So you're not getting them at a song. And it certainly doesn't sound very, much value to it with that win. But I just think he gets more strikeouts than anybody on the slate. And I think we're going to need him.
Yeah, I agree. My value pitcher is going to be, believe it or not, you're going to hate me. It's going to be George Kirby.
Oh, no.
500 on FanDuel, 7,800 on DraftKings. Oakland's been in the bottom 10 of strikeouts all year, and they have scored the second fewest runs per game. He faced them earlier, just a couple games ago on June 22nd. He pitched 6 shutout innings, struck out 6 for 46 fantasy points, which is why we were on him in the first place. So this has been a favorable matchup for him this year, and I think his ownership is going to be extremely low. So I'm going to go with a contrarian play here with George Kirby.
I mean, we were all high on him, so I guess you're supposed to forget about the last start, but I just do not trust that dude as far as I can throw him.
I know.
But I respect the choice. I think it makes sense because there's not good pitching here. There really isn't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and again I'm vacillating here between my next pitcher, and I don't want somebody that gets blown up. And I'm on this strikeout barrage, and I'm reluctantly going to take Tyler Mahle. Not excited about it. I thought about stacking Braves, but he's the next best strikeout pitcher to me on this slate.
Yeah.
And the Braves strike out a lot. So even if he gives up a couple of solo shots or something, if he can keep guys off base, he isn't a super, you can't really call him a value play, but he's my 1A guy. He's 9K on Draftkings, which isn't that bad. 9.5 on Fanduel, and he is a giveaway on Yahoo at 39. I thought was a steal.
That's pretty cheap for sure.
So I'm not jumping up and down, but if he can get me 6, 7, 8 strikeouts, which I would think would be the floor for him against an Atlanta team, I think he can outperform any, hiccups he has pitching wise. So I'm going with him there.
Yeah. And just to reiterate your point about strikeouts, I mean, Corbin Burns had 40 fantasy points last night, which is decent, but he almost pitched a no-hitter. So that just shows you the value of having strikeouts because he only had 5 strikeouts.
100%. I mean, compared to the 70 on the 14 strikeouts.
Yeah.
From the Astros. So so it's key. I mean, like I said, I don't agree with the scoring. I think it's too strikeout heavy.
It is.
But you really can have, and I said this the last couple of podcasts, and I don't know if people, are not absorbing it, but I would rather have that guy with 9 strikeouts that gives up 3 solo home runs than a guy that pitches 8 shutout innings and strikes out 4. It sounds insane, but it really comes out better with Case.
Yeah. It is a little unbalanced. My fade pitcher is going to be Martin Perez. He's 10,000 on FanDuel, 8,700 on DraftKings. As we mentioned, the Mets have been good against lefties, and they've scored the 4th most runs per game this year at 4.82. They have been struggling a little bit lately to score, but they did score 4 last night, and I think they're about to get back on track. So I like the Mets against Perez.
I like it. I'm going to fade Yu Darvish. He's going against the Dodgers in LA. It's hot, little wind blowing out. We know that Dodgers lineup is insane. Maybe Chris Taylor batting 8th. He'd be batting cleanup for some of these teams. I'm not a big Darvish fan. I think people are going to own him. He's over 10K. I just feel like it's a good spot to fade. And, I think some people could get blown up by him. Yeah. And hopefully, I just don't see him having a monster game. And he can strike out guys, I get it, but not at the rate that he used to. And the Dodgers do have some strikeouts in there, but they do have tons of power as well. So that's my fade. All right, BVP, what do you got there?
Got Kyle Tucker. He's 3,600 on FanDuel, 5,100 on DraftKings. He's 500 with 4 hits and 8 at-bats against Patrick Sandoval, single, a double, and 2 home runs. So I like Kyle Tucker tonight.
I like it. I'm going to go to my BVP play. I got to get back to that sheet. There it is. Okay. There's a couple of guys I was looking at that I'm interested in here. It's very tight. And I'm going to go with this guy. Makes me so mad. I spent so much money on him the last week as far as rostering him, and he's super costly, and he's punched me right in the face. But I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to use the F word in between his first and last name like I did this week. I'm going to go Trey Turner against Yu Darvish. He's batting 455. He's taking him deep. He's, 1364 OPS. And I know Turner's going to bust out. I just know it's coming. I mean, he's just too good not to have some big games in here. So, Trey Turner. What do you got home run?
Christian Yelich. He's 5 for 7 of his home runs. 5 of his 7 home runs have come against right-handed pitchers. Lefties have been hitting 393 against Bryce Wilson. He was one of the only Brewers that didn't have a monster night at the plate last night. And he's on a 10-game hitting streak with 5 multi-hit games. So I think he'll hit a home run today. He hasn't hit one since June 16th, so I think he's due. So Christian Yelich is my home run call.
I like it. I'm going Freddie Freeman. As you can tell, I'll have a bit of a Dodger stack today.
It's a few.
But he's batting 308 against Darvish, and Freeman's just since he got that Atlanta thing behind him, going back and crying and getting all emotional. He's settled down and he's been on fire since then. I just think it's a great spot for him against Darvish. Will definitely give up some home run balls. He's walked a bunch of times against him as well. So, Darvish isn't going to be able to get him to chase anything. So a homer, a double, a couple of walks. I see a nice game coming for Freeman.
Yep, I like it, Coach.
Stacks. What do you got, Stacks Crash?
I've got what do I have? It's a good question. Okay, I got the Brewers against Bryce Wilson. I know they scored 19 runs.
I've never heard you pick the Brewers.
19 runs yesterday, but like I mentioned earlier on paper, this is an even better matchup. So if I was going to do a Brewers stack, I would probably stack the guys that didn't have, the big game last night and just go with those guys. I like the Phillies against Matthew Liberatore, assuming that game's able to play. And as I mentioned, the Mariners, they would be my GPP stack against Paul Blackburn. They faced him on June 22nd. They scored 7 runs on 10 hits. So
nice.
The Mariners are my GPP stack.
Well, since I have such a pretty contrarian lineup, I'm not going to have contrarian with my main stack, which I think is just necessary, and it's the Rockies.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the biggest implied total against Keuchel, who really was out of baseball. And it just, I think it's 3-4 Rockies minimum is really the way to go today. So I may not have them all right in a row, but Blackman, Bryant, McMahon, I'll pick and choose guys all over that lineup, maybe Grishik, we'll see. But I just think you have to go there. Wouldn't mind, sprinkling in a Diamondback or two. So I will be, for the members that have my lineups. And by the way, we give a really good core build in DraftKings. We also give a clipboard with highlighted players and other recommended players, full lineups on Fanduel and Yahoo. So, we really take the extra mile with our members and share the whole deal. And, I may not be very high up in the rankings going into that late 9-10 game, but half of my hitters are going to probably come from this game. And I think it's going to be well worth waiting for.
Yeah.
And then my other stack that I like, of course, is the Dodgers. So that's the 7-15 game. So
those are both on the late slate. They're not on the main slate. So
they're not on that late main slate?
The main slate is actually the 405 slate.
Oh, that's right. But we're providing lineups for the 405 and the 705 slate.
Right, correct.
So we're providing both of those lineups. That's why I have those two in there.
Gotcha.
For the 405 slate, the stack that I like is the Mets. I really like the Mets. Yeah. And for that stack, I'm going to have quite a few of them. Martin Perez is 6-2 with a 2.22 ERA, but the wheels have started to fall off a bit for him because he was way out, producing what he normally does. So I think he's a good spot to go there. So again, 405, 705, and I do think the Yahoo one might have all of them. So I believe it does, all 14. So like I say, Saturdays are always like this. You got a million slates to choose from, but we are going to provide for everything after 405 today. So hit that up. All right, PrizePicks, what do you got?
I was just looking at PrizePicks actually, and they updated it. They had all silhouettes earlier. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did see that. They had no player pictures, and I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, like they got hacked or something.
Yeah.
So it's Kyle Tucker over 6 fantasy score. He's my BVP play. I think he can get well over that 6. That's pretty low to me.
Okay.
and then I have Dylan Cease over 7.5 strikeouts. So those are my 2 PrizePicks plays.
Nice. I've got Dylan Cease over 38.5 fantasy score. I think he gets over that into the 40s with all the strikeouts. And then I was so excited about this one, man. I got Freddie Freeman fantasy score over 7. That's it. Flat 7.
That's pretty decent. Yeah.
I think that may tick up. So I would say jump on that if you're listening.
Yeah, it's weird. I was looking at, because I made it my home run call, I was looking at Yelich. They have it at 9.
Wow. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, like he's playing in Coors or something. I mean, that's
bizarre.
That's high. So yeah, they got him at 9 and Willie Adames at 8.5. So they really bumped up the Brewers.
Well, it's hot as hell in Pittsburgh, so maybe the ball's gonna fly again.
Yeah, and they still got, for the hitters, they still have all silhouettes. So that's kind of funny.
That's great. All right, let's build
7.5. That's not bad.
No, 2 brains are better than 1. Let's dive on this one.
Good.
So we're going to FanDuel. It is the main slate 405, which has 9 games in it. So it's 405 and 410 starts. All 9 of those are there. So not the late games, not the early games, just to make it, as clear as mud for everybody.
Right.
Dylan Cease 10-7. We both tout him. Let's just plug him in there and make it work from there.
Okay.
So you can take the first hitter, sir.
All right. Well, I got to take my guy Yelich then.
Yelich?
Yep.
Okay, he's there. I can't take Freeman. I can't take those guys. So I'm going to go focus a little bit on this Mets stack since there's no Rockies in this one either. I'm going to take your buddy Francisco Lindor. He's due. Hasn't been killing the ball like he was earlier. So hopefully it's a breakout game for him.
Okay. And I'm going to go back to the guy I played yesterday, and he let us down. He's got decent numbers against Perez, and that's Brandon Nimmo, 2,900.
Okay. So that gives us a little bit more there. I want to try to give us some decent pricing here. This is going to be an off-the-board pick that's weird. This guy has not played well at all since he came back, but this is one of those. This is a GPP play. We're looking to take something down, to be contrarian. It's Great American Small Park. I'm going to think Jonathan India is going to wake up today in that leadoff spot.
Okay.
He's only 2,700, but he doesn't deserve much more since the way he's played. But why not today?
I can get on board with that. Second base.
Yes.
I'm going to go. Let me see something. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Castanera in Pittsburgh, but for some reason he just loves playing there. He hit a home run there last night. He's 2 for 2 with a home run against Wilson. So I'm going to go for a utility, and I'm going to go with Castanera. He's only 2,600. So
is he definitely going to be in the lineup, you think?
We'll have to check and see that, because sometimes he doesn't get in the lineup against righties, but he was last night. So hopefully he will be today.
Okay. So third base?
I have him at utility.
Oh, utility. Okay. And he's 26, you said?
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to save.
Double check. We'll post this for the non-members. Obviously, we'll be posting this for members in Discord, but for non-members, Colin will update it and post it on Twitter. And if you want to catch us on Twitter, by the way, it's at DFS Coach Talk. You can check out there if we do, for example, if Hira doesn't play, we'll sub them out. You can catch Crash at JP Davis 1982, and I am at Joe Sarvati. But you can catch all of us easily at DFS Coach Talk. So we have an even 3K left for our 3 guys. So we can get some solid hitting here.
Mm-hmm.
How about Alex Bregman, third baseman, $3,000?
Okay. If I go with my BVP play, how much is he? 36. What's that leave us with? 24.
The numbers are cooking. I hear them. I could smell the smoke from here.
Let me see. I'm gonna try and find.
What are you thinking, Crash? All right, I'm going to make a pick and put the pressure on you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead here.
Oh, Eric I have my guy.
Eric Haas, 2,300.
Oh, okay. I was going to take Rowdy Tellez. It made you happy.
Yeah, you still can. Catcher first base because Haas is in the outfield.
Oh, I thought he was catcher. Okay, but that would give me 3,700. Really, oh, I'm definitely going. Oh, man. I don't know. That game may rain out.
Who are you going to go with?
I was thinking of going with Josh Bell, but I can't. You know what? I got to play. You ready?
How much is Bell?
Julio Rodriguez, 3,600, your favorite player.
Oh, okay. I'm on board with that. Let's see here.
That leaves us 100 bananas.
Yep, and then we move Haas to the
Yep. So here's our two brains are better than one lineup today. Dylan Cease, Eric Haas, Jonathan India, Alex Bregman, Francisco Lindor, Christian Yelich, Brandon Nimmo, Julio Rodriguez, and Keston Hiura. So sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like it. All right, outstanding.
Coach, I just want to see something real quick in case Hiura is not in the lineup. Jace Peterson will be my substitute if he's not in the lineup.
Jace Peterson if Hiura's out of the lineup. Okay, that works. Now, are you off tomorrow?
I can do tomorrow, I think, because I'm not playing drums tomorrow. So
okay, well, we'll either myself or Crash and I'll be back tomorrow. We got all kinds of stuff going too. We'll have, but join us. Jump in Discord tonight. We'll have some final round golf. We'll have more of the summer league, and then obviously tons of baseball on Sunday. So
yeah,
terrific. I hope. Go ahead.
All right. I was just thinking, was Deb supposed to do Sunday or no?
No, we ended up
Tuesdays.
Yeah, we that's right. She did Sunday. Was that last week she did Sunday? Yeah. So we'll figure it out. Obviously, we're well organized here. No, we've been moving around because Deb's West Coast, so it's hard to get him out early enough.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Sunday's early games. So.
Right. I can do Sunday if I need to. Yeah.
All right. It's more than likely going to be you because, it's just not enough time. Yeah. We don't want poor Deb having to do a 4 a.m. Coach talk.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bud. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. A little longer than normal today, but it was a lot to talk about. This is not an easy slate, and there's a lot to think about. So check it all out. Give us some comments. I'll be in the premiere there if you have any questions during. So appreciate all of you. Thank you, Crash. Great stuff, and we'll definitely be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS. What is it? PrizePicks and
DFS.
MLB. DFS. There you go.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
All right.